Now what I'm going to show is a couple of things, but the main thing is to show how the larger dome is being seen by every individual as their own personal perspective, a shrunken down version of what's going on in the larger part, the celestial dome above us. So you've got the sun here, then over here, so the sun is out near Capricorn at this point, and over here near the equator towards Cancer, in that zone, depending on where the sun is beyond the equator towards Capricorn, when this coffee cup caustic zone happens north of the equator northward, this is what it looks like. Now, this whole zone is going to be in the red spectrum, the far red. So you're not going to see it with your eyes because we can't see into the far red with our eyes. But when it happens like this, it can be spotted for a brief period with the right cameras. If you're looking for it and you know it's going to be there, you can see it with the right equipment. It's very faint, but it really gets exposed in the lunar eclipses. And so I'm going to explain the lunar eclipse, and just imagine that this person is seeing what I'm explaining happening in the larger scale, because you can see they're clearly looking at the same scenario, just to their own perspective. So a lunar eclipse, when the moon, full moon, so the sun's out here over Capricorn in this scenario, and we're going to have a lunar eclipse during this time of year, and the full moon moves here. When the full moon hits right here is when you see that black shadow start, and then as it moves closer to this pool of light opposite the sun in the far red, you begin to see that black shadow turn to a red shadow. So you got a red shadow and a black shadow. And then as it moves all the way in, the lensing effect takes full effect, and the moon goes blood red from the lensing effect. As it moves out this way, you see the red start to fade, and you get that black shadow and the red shadow. Then the red shadow goes away, and you only have the black shadow, and the moon moves out, and the black shadow goes away, and the moon is back to bright and full. And that's how the lunar eclipse works, and this person would have seen it to their own perspective. And depending, this coffee cup caustic zone is always above us. It just changes a little bit based on where the sun is, whether it's up here near Cancer or out here near Capricorn or at the equator. But it's always present. It's more prevalent in this situation when the sun's beyond the equator towards Capricorn. From the equator to Capricorn, it gets a lot more brilliant, and it's generally north, the equator northward towards Cancer. Whereas when the sun moves in, this moves back, but is still out here. So it's always present. That's how your lunar eclipses happen. I'll do one on solar eclipses again soon. I've got some old ones on that, but I don't have anything new on it. So I'll do something new on that soon. You can see though, this also comes into play with our Antarctic 24-hour sun during the summer in Antarctica. And each one of these time zones is 4 hours each, so 6 of those, 24 hours. And another thing, because this isn't far red, again, we're not seeing it with our naked eye. You can capture it at the right times of year with the right equipment. It's very faint, but it's there. Again, it gets exposed during the lunar eclipse more than anything, because you see the effects of that lensing effect happening as the moon crosses into this zone. And you can even take a laser light, put it on the wall over there, and cut you a piece of paper to where the solid part of the paper is here, right? And this curve is where it starts. So all this would just be, you would cut out this way, and all this would be gone, and this would be the paper. And you move the laser light into that, or move this in front of the laser light to mimic this, and you will see it matches that dark black shadow that we see on the moon during the lunar eclipse. So it hits this far red spectrum here. It creates that black shadow. Then it moves into the infrared of the light pool, the concentrated light pool created by the sun. That causes that blood moon lensing effect. So you get the black shadow first, then you get the red shadow in front of that dark black shadow, then it goes all red. Then you get red and black shadow again as it moves away, and then you get all black shadow, and then the full moon comes back out to be a full moon. And that's how it works. People can keep saying we don't have good explanations. No, we have better explanations. I've personally falsified the umbra shadow teaching of the lunar eclipse. And falsification is independent of replacement, but I'm able to give a replacement within the flat earth assumptions of a toroidal dome type structure enclosure in a magnetic field inside of that with lights moving around above us. And there's all kinds of other factors. Obviously, we have to rework our whole atmos because nothing is what we've been told. So we can't accept anything they've told us about what these things are. Their movements, yes, we can verify a lot of the movements, but as far as what they are, we can't trust any of that. So I've given a viable explanation for the lunar eclipse. I'm gonna do the solar eclipse again soon because I haven't done it in a while. I've got some old videos on it, but nothing new. But this is just showing how this light's working in the dome. And if I move the light source, like let's move it closer to Cancer. See how it's still there? Now it's just further back. It's moving back beyond the equator towards Capricorn, and now the sun is moving up towards Cancer. It's always there, it just changes. Again, it's moved further back. The sun's here. It's further back. The small dome view has its own personal view of what's going on. Got light wrapping around. And again, if I take the exposures properly, and you would see the day zone and then the night zone. And even in the small one, you would see, the day zone and then the night zone. And then again, the coffee caucasit's gonna be in the infrared through this, where it's real brilliant here. It's gonna be in the infrared. And out here around the edge, it's just gonna be bright, because you get that wraparound near the dome. But in here, you're in this infrared because of the way it's being cast into the atmos. Very cool. Stop telling us we don't have explanations, we do. We're just really trying to help. We're trying to wake people up and say, look, we've been lied to on a scale that we can't imagine. Does that suck? Yes, it sucks, but we gotta deal with it. That's part of being an adult.